Put another way, the most people believe that the reasonable response is the one that benefits them, the one that satisfies their desire to approach a situation from a more neutral emotion position, allow you to base your response on the data rather than the emotion. Suffering drive progress. The source of all suffering is the desire for the change in state. This is also the source of all progress. The desire to change your state is what powers you to take action. It is wanting more that pushes humanity to seek improvement, develop new technologies, and reach for a high level. With cravings, we dissatisfied but driving. Without craving, we are satisfied but lack ambition. Your action reveals how badly you want something. If you keep saying something is a priority but you never act on it, then you don't really want it. It's time to have an honest conversation with yourself. Your action reveals your true motivations. Rewards is the other side of sacrifice. Response. Sacrifice of energy always precedes rewards, the collection of resources. The runner's high only comes after the hard run. The reward only comes after the energy is spent. Self-control is difficult because it is not satisfying. A reward is an outcomes that satisfy your cravings. This makes self-control ineffective because inhibiting our desire does not usually resolve them. Resisting temptation does not satisfy your craving, it just ignores it. It creates a space for the craving to pass. Self control requires you to release a desire rather than satisfy it. Our expectation determines our satisfaction. The gap between our cravings and our rewards determine how satisfied we feel after taking actions. If the mismatch between expectations and outcomes is positive surprise and delight, then we are more likely to repeat a behavior in the further. If the mismatch is negative disappointment and frustration, then we are less likely to do so. For example, if you expect to get $10 and get $100, you feel great. If you expect to get $100 and get $10, you feel disappointed. Your expectation change your satisfaction. An average experience preceded by high expectation is disappointment. An average experience preceded by low expectation is a delight. When looking and wanting are approximately the same, you feel satisfied. Satisfaction equal to liking minus wanting. This is what the wisdom behind Seneca famous quote. Being poor is not having too little, it is wanting more. If your wants outpace your likes, you will always be unsatisfied. You are perpetual putting more weight on the problem than the solution. Happiness is relative. When I first began sharing my writing publicly, it took me 3 months to get 1,000 subscribers. When I hit that milestone, I told my parents and my girlfriend I celebrated. I felt excited and motivated. A few years later, I realized that 1,000 people were signing up each day, and yet I didn't even think to tell anyone. It feels normal. I was getting result 90 times faster than before, but experiencing little pleasure over it. It wasn't until a few days later that I realized how absurd it was, that I wasn't celebrating something that would have seemed like a pipe dream just a few years before. The pain of failure correlates to the height of expectation. When your desire is high, it hurts or not like the outcomes. Failing to attain something you want hurt more than failing to attain something you didn't think much about the first place. This is why people say, I don't want to get my hopes up. Feelings comes both before and after the behavior. Before acting, there is a feeling that motivates you to act. The craving after acting, there is a feeling that teaches you to repeat the action in the future. The reward. Q greater than craving, feeling greater than response, greater than reward, feelings. how we feel influence how we act, and how we act influence how we feel. Desire initiates pleasure, sustains wanting, and liking are the two drives of behavior. If it is not desirable, you have no reason to do it. Desires and cravings are what initiate a behavior, but if it's not enjoyable, you have no reason to repeat it. Pleasure and satisfaction are what sustain a behavior. Feeling motivated gets up to act, feeling successful gets you to repeat. Hope decline with experience and is placed by acceptance. The first time an opportunity arises, there is a hope of what could be. Your expectation craving is based solely on promise. The second time around, your expectation is grounded in reality. You begin to understand how the process works, and your hopes is gradually traded for a more accurate predictions and acceptance of the likely outcomes. This is one reason why we continually grasp for the latest get rich quick or weight lose scheme. New plans offer hopes because we don't have any experience to ground our expectation. New strategies seems more appealing than old ones because they can have unbound hope. As Aristotle noted, youth is easily deceived because it is quick to hope. Perhaps this can be revised to youth is easily deceived because it's only hope. There is no experience to root the expectation in. In the beginning, hope is all you have. How to apply these ideas to business? Over the year, I've spoken at Fortune 500 companies and growing startups about how to apply of success the science of small habits to run more effective businesses and build better products. I've compiled many of the most practical strategies into short bonus chapter. I think you'll find it to be incredibly useful addition of the main ideas mentioned in Atomic Habit. How to apply these ideas to parenting? One of the most common question I hear from readers in something along the line of how can I get my kids to do this stuff. The idea in Atomic Habits are intended to apply broadly to all of human behavior. Teenagers are humans too, which means you should find plenty of useful strategies in the main text. That said, parenting does face its own set of challenges. As a bonus chapter, I put together a brief guide on how to apply these ideas specifically to parenting.